Beyonce's family members are using her? Let's talk about it. This is Rich Lux with the hottest news on YouTube. Alright, so Beyonce has a sister named Solange, okay? And Solange has a son named Julez. Now, we're going to be talking about Julez because a lot of people are being very shady and they're saying that Julez's life and career was just handed to him because of who he knows and who his mom is and who his cousins and family members and all that stuff is. It's all tied to Beyonce, right? So apparently Julez, who is drama. When you talk about the Beyonce family, you don't really hear much drama, but there is. And we're going to talk about it because I have it all, girl. So Julez is young. He was in high school. Now, this all started with this girl that he was talking to, and she threatened to expose him. And she leaked text messages, and then Julez went live on TikTok talking about it and stuff. It was very messy. And then he started to get this modeling gig and walked the runway for Louis Vuitton and things like that. And people were saying he only got that job because of who he knows, and he's never had any modeling experience. So it was very interesting how it all just fell into play. So I also want to say this, that the girl who was trying to expose Julez, she's radio silent now. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a cease and desist or something like that, but let me tell you what happened because this was first reported by Pop 101. Now, when they talk about him walking the runway, it's always just that one footage of him walking the runway. He looks kind of like nervous about it, but here's his background and all the drama with Julez that I found. Here we go, roll it.
Imagine being Solange's son and Jay-Z's nephew. Julez definitely didn't have a run-of-the-mill upbringing. Born into fame, with his dad, Daniel Smith Sr., being an ex-NFL player, Julez grew up surrounded by celebrity glitz from day one. But with great fame comes great scrutiny. Julez was enough for some Twitter users to suggest that Jay-Z and Beyonce's legal team needed to step in, and that maybe it was time for Julez to put his phone down. Now, it's been quite a few months since all that drama, and there haven't been any more updates on Adore and her supposed pregnancy. Amidst the silence, Julez managed to stir up more buzz over the summer of 2022 with a TikTok video of him rapping. The attempt was not well received, especially considering his family's strong musical roots. The critique was brutal, but despite the criticism, in a recent chat on 97.9, Julez shared that he wasn't really focused on a music career and was instead aiming to play basketball in college, eyeing spots at UCLA and Texas Tech. It's been a wild ride for Julez so far, with his love life and career attempts making waves online. Growing up as a celebrity kid comes with its own set of challenges, particularly when it comes to personal development and maintaining privacy. The constant media attention can be overwhelming and can significantly impact a young person's sense of self and autonomy. The pressures of living up to a famous family name and meeting public expectations can take a toll on one's mental health. This broader understanding can help us appreciate the complexities of
Now listen, he has no media training. Okay, let me just say that. Because if you're going to get into some drama, the last thing you want to do is go live on the internet and talk about it because people are going to twist your words up and twist it up. But for whatever reason, it never really hit as hard. Like, the drama didn't really hit, like, mainstream. Like, this guy, I think what he needs to be doing is rapping. And when he tried his rapping career, people made fun of him, which is like, people are going to do that. But he should still try. I mean, they can auto-tune anything to make it sound good or whatever. But I think that's really his calling. But with that being said, I feel like he doesn't want to step on anyone's toes, so he doesn't do it. But then there's the whole modeling gig, all right? This is where I, start to raise my brow about it because I do believe Pharrell Williams was involved, and it doesn't take much for them to pick up the phone and be like, hey, you know, let him walk the runway. It's his first time. He fits the clothes. He looks decent. You know what I'm saying? And plus he's related to Beyonce, and Solange is his mom. Like, to me, I can see that happening. The thing is, right, I feel like, I'm not saying that his life is not hard. And I do want to say that oftentimes people, when they see somebody with status or wealth, they think like, oh, they have it easy. But the thing is, everyone's hustle is different. Like, my hustle is different from your hustle, but we both hustle. You know what I'm saying? So we both have issues and problems within that realm. So I think Julez is struggling to find who he is underneath the shadows of Beyonce and Solange and try to make his way. But also, I do believe he is using that clout to parlay him to get gigs, because it is very interesting that some people find it very hard to get gigs, and some people their first walking the runway is a huge brand, when oftentimes walking the runway is no name, up and coming designers, hometown stuff. He got thrown into it very quickly, right? That's just what I'm saying, okay? I do believe that because he's related to Beyonce and Solange is his mom, I do believe that certain experiences are more accessible to him than if he was not related to them at all. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not hating because I already know how y'all are, but it is what it is. It's like we're all born and we're all given a deck of cards, and some people's cards look a lot more easier to play than others. It's all how you play your cards, right? That's what I say, play your cards right. Well, you only play them to the extent that you're giving. That's pretty much my idea. I don't want to sit here and say that everyone's equal and stuff like that, because I do feel like everyone is equal, but it also matters where you were born, because luck has a lot to do with it, okay? I was lucky enough to be born in America. I was lucky enough to be born in Houston, lucky enough to go to some pretty decent schools, right? But some other people, they're not lucky enough to be born in America. They're born in third world countries. They're born with all these other circumstances. So, you can sit here and say, oh, well, Julez worked hard. He worked so hard to get to where he's at. I'm not denying that. But you also have to factor in chance and luck. Has a lot to do with where he's at. Just saying, because if he wasn't born into Solange's family and Beyonce, it would look a lot different. Not only that, can you imagine, that's just he gets to see Beyonce and Jay-Z this normal, and take pictures if he wants to and post it. It's very interesting. Anyways.
Yo, Beyonce's nephew Julez just landed a huge modeling gig, and people are not here for it, calling him out for having the unfair advantage of being Beyonce's nephew and Solange's son.
Bro, they didn't give me anything. Y'all act like... Bro, chill.
Listen, when those photos of Julez walking during the Fashion Week Fall 2024 got posted online, social media went into a frenzy. It had people talking, from people who watched him grow up and were surprised he looked so grown, to people who were shocked at how good he was even though it was his first time walking the runway. His career took off immediately after that, landing the cover of High Snobiety and shooting a collection for Louis Vuitton, where he looked very dapper and talked about some of his favorite pieces from the collection.
How's it going? It's Julez. I'm here with High Snobiety, shooting the LV collection. Louis, dread up, real snazzy.
And then, as if his career wasn't taking off enough, he landed one of the most coveted invitations in the entertainment industry. An invitation to the Met Gala, where he dressed in Loire, the very fashion house that launched his career.
You can touch the tie. Give yourself a little smile. Yeah.
With all of these, Julez became one of the fashion industry's most talked about up-and-coming models. But not everyone was happy for him. Many fans pointed out that he got the opportunity because of who his mom and aunt are, and not because of his talent.
Bro, they didn't give me anything. Y'all act like... Bro, chill.
People left comments like, okay, real, but I'm sure Solange being his mama, Beyonce being his auntie, and Jay-Z being his grandma helps quite a lot. And are you drunk? That's nepotism right there. He gets everything on a platter. But according to Julez, his famous family had nothing to do with his progress in the modeling industry. To everyone watching from the outside, Julez just shot to the top super fast. But what they didn't know was that he had been working behind the scenes in the modeling industry for a while before he landed the opportunity of a lifetime. In an interview with Vogue, Julez talked about how he made it in the modeling industry, saying it had been a long time coming. Julez said his road to fashion came naturally, and I mean, it's not surprising. If y'all don't know, Julez has been in the fashion industry for a very young age. Growing up, Julez attended industry events and shows, often pictured hand in hand with his mother Solange, and according to him, his mom is the greatest influence when it comes to fashion. Julez told Vogue it came pretty naturally. Growing up, my grandma was doing costumes for my auntie and my mom, and I think my mom is one of the best dressed people in the world. I just wanted to be fly and keep up with them, but I wanted to be on the modeling side. Julez, who recently signed with Next Management, said his upbringing was pretty normal, or at least as normal as it could be when Solange knows is your mom. According to him, he went to school, played basketball, and even thought he was going to play professional basketball for a while before deciding to go to the modeling route. But when he discovered modeling and decided on it, the road to get to where he is now wasn't very easy. He had to work behind the scenes for several fashion brands like Loire before actually landing a gig. According to him, he did grunt work work as an intern, ran errands around the office, got everyone whatever they wanted, helped style people, box stuff, and so much more. But eventually it all paid off when he was asked to attend a modeling casting for Loire. I've been wanting to model for a couple of years. It just never really worked out. Loire was really my breakthrough. I was actually interning with them for a couple of months, and maybe like a week before the show, they were just like, come to the casting. So I went to the casting and I got it, he told Vogue. And when he found out he would be working for the brand, he did everything he could to make sure that he slayed it. According to him, he practiced a lot on the street, working for his mom and grandma. When he was asked if he had a coach for his runway walk, Julez said, nah, nobody coached me. I just spent a lot of time walking on the street like I was on a runway and walking around my house. And my mom and my grandma were pretty consistent. They were like, practice, practice, practice. I also watched a lot of runway videos on YouTube and saw how the models were so locked in. That's how I learned. Although his famous family didn't help him get into the modeling industry, they did have something to do with how successful he is. Growing up, my mom and aunt were doing photo shoots every other week, and I saw how jam-packed and busy it was. It was good to already understand, okay, you're going to have to get up early, be on time, and work long hours, and everything moves really fast.
I just wanted to jump on here and talk about Julez and how people are talking about him online with his troubled past with other girls and how he's walking the runway and things like that. So I find it interesting, and I do think in some way he might be using the family name to get ahead in life. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about all that drama in the comments down below. This is Rich Lux with the hottest celebrity news on YouTube. Mwah.